Big House is heartbroken to share we've received a cease and desist from Nintendo of America Incorporated to cancel an upcoming online event. We were informed we do not have the permission to host or broadcast the event primarily due to the usage of Slippy. Sadly, all of our competitions are affected. We are forced to comply with the order and cancel the Big House online for both Melee and Ultimate. Refund information will be sent shortly. We apologize to all those impacted. Let's talk about this. This is really important. Hello, everybody. Many of you may not know who I am. My name is Stelios. I'm a content creator on Twitch and YouTube, but this isn't about me. This is more about an entire community at hand. This has to involve Nintendo's, pretty much the day of today, their cease and desist against the Melee tournament, well, Smash tournament, apologies, the Big House. So some of you might be wondering, what is the Big House? What's Slippy? What's going on here? I'll explain each thing step by step, but let's start with this. So, what's Slippy? Slippy is a software that helps enhance online play for Super Smash Bros. Melee for players across the world, basically, especially in the United States. Before Slippy, we just had regular Dolphin Emulator, which is an emulator that uses Nintendo games, GameCube games, sometimes even Wii games, and that's what we were using before Slippy was a thing. It was really polarizing software. Some people really liked it, some people really didn't like it. We had Smash Live. That was pretty much the main way to play Melee online. And, there were people who were running majors on it due to the impact of COVID being a thing. And, like I said, really mixed. And earlier this year, around the summertime, we had Slippy Game introduced to the Smash world, and it pretty much had this rejuvenation of an online community. People were playing each other all the time because what Slippy did is that it had a rollback netcode. For those who play fighting games online that have that, it's a lot more smooth. You're like pretty much like playing in the same room as somebody else. And now we had more events. We had stuff like Rona Rumble being a thing. Majors were being played online, and this would have been another one in the Big House. But now with the cease and desist, it can no longer happen, unfortunately. So that's the big problem. And why Nintendo in the first place put this out there is because it is technically to them, an illegal version of Melee because it is on a computer. It does not involve a physical copy of the game, and that breaks their code. I personally do not agree with that because we've done this for years and years and years, and this coming up now, it just doesn't make sense to a lot of us. Like, I've been hearing content creators from across the Melee scene, like Ludwig, Toph, Scar, Juggle Guy. They've all been talking about how does this really benefit Nintendo? Like, is this a financial gain? Because let's be real, does Nintendo even make anything off Melee anymore? The game is almost 20 years old. It's going to be 19 years old in a couple of days, and now we sit here with the game just being curb stomped into the ground once more. Just for what? Just so Nintendo can stick it to them once again for not being hip with the time, so we can play their new Pokemon game or Animal Crossing or something else like that. I don't understand it, and this is something that we're going to look into more as this goes on. So enough about Slippy. Some of you might be wondering, what's the Big House? The Big House is one of the longest running and most well-known Smash tournaments throughout the world. It's been an event being held in Michigan since I think the early 2010s, maybe even earlier. Someone correct me in editing. I'll try and point that out. And this would have been the first time it would have been online. And like I said, this is where Cease and Desist came in. And now both, not just Melee, but also Ultimate are being held back. So because the Cease and Desist. And this concerns me because with the nature of COVID, curb stomping in-person events to the ground, because let's be real, if you have thousands of people going to a convention center during this time period, it's just asking for a big Rona bomb and also breaking a lot of CDC guidelines here in the US. And that's just going to lead to more people dying, more people being in danger. And that's why we have to go online, which is for the better. Let's try and stay out of the whole the science behind that, but that's just some basic common sense that we have when it comes to this. So beyond Big House, let's look at some of the other big events that could be affected by this. Genesis, Super Smash Con, Shine, Full Bloom, other events out there that could potentially be shut down if they use Slippy, and will be taking away more from a community that just wants to come together and play a game that we all love, that we've been playing for decades now. If we have that stuff taken away from us, then it just shows that Nintendo doesn't really care. And like I said, for what? What gain comes out of this? I really don't get it. And I know a lot of people don't as well. I've already talked about that. So And this hurts just like not like the everyday players like myself, other people out there who just go to tournaments, have fun, and improve the top players as well. Like some people make a living off of this. And what worries me about them is that what are they gonna do? Like if they have these events that they can't compete at online, take away from them, what are they gonna do for the time being? Like I think they have to wait until in-person events are safe to go to again. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. It's terrifying because people like Mango, Leffen, Hungrybox, all those people out there who are grinding the game constantly, trying to be as good as they can with like this new climate that we are in because of the ongoing pandemic, they might be short events that they are trying to play in with Slippy because it just, like I said, Nintendo doesn't want it. And let's look more into it. And not just the players and the top players, people who run these events. Aforementioned Juggle Guy, other people who put together events, the whole Stop Your Friendlies team who were probably helping collaborate with these events. Some of them also run these big events like Big House. I know plenty of people on that team who are key, what's the word here, figureheads in running these. It's crazy because these are just taking away things that keep us going and help bring people together and have relationships be built and keep people's lives like happy. This is what brings us happiness, and like it's just not going well. It's really concerning. Let's say years, like maybe like a year or so from now, like COVID has passed over, vaccines are out there, people are being able to go back out safely, we're back at in-person events. What's the environment going to be like? Are we going to be allowed to have in-person events? Or is like going to be a certain stigma from Nintendo, like that's going to shut down maybe Melee entirely? It's concerning. I've said that numerous times in this video, but it just shows that, you know, it's not just the Big House that, you know, is going to get shut down. Like I said, other the majors I talked about, smaller events, local events, like what does it mean for those ones as well? Are we going to have a community to come back to? Because people aren't going to be able to watch this on Twitch or other platforms that it's on. There won't be VODs of the tournament on YouTube for people to go back and watch, especially people who are new to the community. They won't be able to get into Melee because like these things just aren't happening. So in-person events may suffer. Like not only if they aren't even allowed to run, but if they are, will turn out to be lower. Will Melee still be like a thriving esport that it's been for such a long time now, dating back to 2003/2004? Like when we had the Tournament Go series in someone's basement in California, almost in Carolina. That's not right. But it's concerning because we won't have a community. Like it also could apply to Ultimate, though that's more of a newer game. We need to do something. What I'll explain towards the end of this video. More of my like personal thoughts is that my big thing is that I do not want to see a thriving esports community that is Smash, both Melee and Ultimate, just be driven into the ground because Nintendo just doesn't like seeing what avid fans of the series are working on and have created, which is something better that they could do, because they didn't really do anything. Like even like when you look at Smash Ultimates online, I just think it's a lot inferior to what Melee has created with Slippy this year, because like I said, it's a very smooth experience. And if you want to go watch Slippy tournaments out there, there's plenty. Go watch Rona Rumble, the LACS from this summer. There's plenty of events out there. You can see the success of Slippy and how top players come together and just have fun. And it's like they're playing in the same room together. I've seen it countless times too, especially with the recent like weekly Slippy series they do on BTS. So talked about a lot here. And as someone who has been in the scene for over 6 years now, having been to several major events to help run the events and having competed for a couple of years, it's heartbreaking to see like this sort of thing happen to an event that is so well renowned for being such a great event. And what I want to do is I want to turn to the rest of the community and ask you all, what can you do to help? How can we as a community come together and stand up for the game that we love and stand by like we have all this time? We need to go out there and voice our opinions, use the hashtag FreeMelee on Twitter, make your own content around it. Like if you're a content creator out there and you're watching this, like go ahead and make your own takes about this. Like what do you think? What are your thoughts? You probably have different opinions to me or have more to add than I do. So I'm just an everyday person that loves this game. I'd love to hear what other people have to think. Some of the people you should check out right now. Check out Ludwig's video he released at time of recording today on YouTube and his Twitch channel. He's been talking about it right now. I have it on in the background. It's muted. You can't hear it. But he's been talking about it with lots of key Melee figureheads such as Toph, Scar, Juggle Guy. Lots of other people. Our mod made a video as well. Please check him out. Juggle Guy, who is the main TO of the Big House. Please check out what he's had to say. He's had some really good opinions. He's had some similar ones to what I've said about the future of big events and stuff like that. So definitely check out what he has to say. Another person, Fizzy. I feel so bad I forgot to mention him. He is the mastermind behind what Slippy is. He had a statement today on Twitter. I'll probably like show it in the video, like either to the left or right of my head. It'll probably pop up in a second. There it is. From on the other side. And other top Melee players, like be sure to check out HBox's video. Mango's thoughts, if he has any at this point, or Will by the time this comes out, and anybody else out there in the community. Thank you all for watching, and everybody, let's stand for Melee, and be sure to use that hashtag #FreeMelee. Thank you, everyone.